Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first installment of Catching Up with I3HL. My name is Focus, or Focus TF, or the guy who might need a shave after quarantine. And today we are talking about I3HL power rankings going into week one, as well as some award predictions for high scoring forward, high scoring defenseman, Vesna, or top goalie, and also who we think is the champion as well. I'm joined here tonight with Kinger and Iggy. Say hello, you two.
Hello.
Hey, what's up, I3?
Yes, so this is the first installment. I'm glad to have these two along with me for tonight. Uh, First installment was supposed to be last season, but we don't talk about that. That was a wasted 40 minutes of my life going through stats and talking about people that I didn't really have a clue about. But that's besides the point. Anyways, without further ado, I'll stop wasting your time and let us jump right into the power rankings. There we go. Finally. My apologies. First and foremost, as you can see on the screen, we have Japan at number 12 with grades of C minus at forward, D plus at defense, and D plus at goaltender goalie. Wow, my English is bad today. Management is XOXO Stan, Mr. Specco, and Jack Quality Meat. Roster highlights include Naslin 19, Remac, Sexton, and Unleash the Fury, and Yurko, among others. Iggy, first impressions so far when you look at this last ranked Japan squad?
Yeah, I think it's controversial to put any team in last. I think the bottom six in the league might shift a lot. We can have some surprises as well. Um, I think that Japan has the opportunity to have one line carry their team in the standings, but I'm not sure about their depth. Remax Sky, Jack Quality Meat, and Naslin, we know will win games. Uh, they're just a grindy weekender winnings team. They win weekenders. That's what they do.
Yeah, I guess Kinger, you can backpack onto that point right there.
Yeah, I think this team is probably going to go as far as that first line takes it. It's going to be weird. I remember Nazla and Remak kind of had a falling out, and now they're back playing together. I think they played together tonight as we're recording this. So Sexton's really good. I think he can win them some games. Unleash the Fury is a pretty good goal. He's been really good for me last year. So I think this team is easily could finish, in the playoffs. I don't think it's far off to say, this isn't a playoff caliber team.
Mhm.
See, I'm gonna have to disagree with you right there. I think,
Oh,
I
okay.
think, I think Naslin and Remac. I think that line can, that line's gonna take them as far as they possibly can. If they do bad, it's gonna show up on paper. Management, I don't really see them winning many games over 500. To be fair, so I do see this team projected to fall within 10 to 12 at final rankings or
Mhm.
standings. A little harsh, but that's just my take.
I mean, I think you just can't count out a team with Toothbrush, 76 year. Like
Yeah,
this
yeah,
this guy is just, I don't think he's to be counted out.
that's true. And that is true. Piggybacking off of that point into funny gamer tags, we head on to Croatia. As you can see, funny gamer tag, completely elite. Is he though? Number
Did he
11.
spell it right?
I do not know. On paper, oh, it's with an I. It's completely elite, something like that. Anyways, number 11, Croatia. Grades, as you can see to the left of the flag, C for forwards, C minus for defense, and D plus for goalies, led by Bax, Skeebs, and HNZ as their first overall selection. Traded to them by me. You're welcome. Let's start with you on this, Kinger. Where do you
Okay.
think the weaknesses lie for Croatia?
Um, I'm gonna put it on their defense. I I I don't want to pick on any players here, but I just really don't know who these guys have for defense that's gonna win them a lot of games and create offense from the back end and shut down top end guys. I'm not sure if Loco Krusty's a D man or I know I've heard he's good, but Phantom I don't think's a defenseman. Belno, Elton's not a defenseman. Like I'm really unsure about these guys back end. Their goalies look solid. Their forwards look probably above average to be honest, or around average. So I'd say probably the back end.
Yeah, no, I think I'd have to agree there. Prince, obviously, he can play everything, but I don't think you'd want to waste a talent like that at defense, especially when you can have him at center, kind of leading or carrying a line if need be. Loco and a Life Advisor, I'm pretty sure they play forward together, from my knowledge. Clashy forward. I think maybe your defensemen there lie in Phantom, completely elite, or maybe Skeebs. Maybe he plays defense. I don't know. Iggy, what do you think about this team?
Yeah, when I was originally doing my power rankings, I did them off of rosters only. I had these guys in last place. After deliberation, I agreed with Japan being in last, but I think unless Bandit really carries these guys to a playoff spot, I think they're missing, and they're missing by a long shot. But you can see that teams will start off hot. My power rankings last season were not accurate the first 3 weeks, and then at the end of the season, they were almost dead on. So we'll see. Things can change.
Yeah, for sure. And one other thing to touch on, their goaltending, even though it is D plus, I think it
Mhm.
still has a lot of potential to improve on that grade. Um, as we said, Bandit, potentially someone that could break out and make a name for
Mhm.
himself in I3HL. Crosby, 81, I think he showed flashes of being a very solid number two on USA last season. And Squid, the youngin, uh, I know personally Melvin and JJR want to take this guy as our third goalie. He got snatched up too quick, so maybe he's on the come up as well. So maybe this number
Yeah,
11 spot for Croatia is definitely a low ball, but
yeah, absolutely.
we'll see how she turns out. That's for sure. Now on to number 10, Azerbaijan or Azerbaijan. I really couldn't tell you if that's the correct pronunciation. Uh, on the left, we have forwards of B minus, defensive B minus, and goaltending at C, led by Region, Froggles, and DeBrusque. Quick thoughts by myself. You can see the bottom of that list on roster. You have Terry, Stiff, Landimov, and Kovalchuk. And then near the top, you have Capitalize. I think that's probably where the core of this team lies. You do have some solid supporting casts in Wedding, June, and Sandy. But I think those Frenchies are going to be either the high ceiling or limiting factor for this team, just based on their, um, let's say, level of. Oh my goodness, it's on the tip of my tongue.
Mm.
Level of commitment. Oh my god, that took me a while. Yeah, and I'm in
Took you that
university
long to
too.
think commitment.
Yeah, it took me a while to think of commitment. Damn. Anyways, yeah, I think a line of Kovalchuk, Stiff, and Capitalize. I think that line could be very, very good as a first line. Might even be able to compete with anybody on Central East or Northeast. Texas is in there. I don't really. That's kind of the great equalizer or advantage for people living in Texas. Iggy, what are your overall thoughts on this roster at first glance?
Yeah, I love this roster. I tried trading for a couple guys on this roster. They're just shutting it down. They won't feed their French guys anywhere. Stiff and Terry are a no move clause or a move together only clause. So I like their pieces. Um, I do think, like you said, it's going to be a one line carry. Landamov and Capitalize, if put on a second line, could steal some games. Um, Azerbaijan. It could be a good team this season. You never know. They could be solid. Um, we'll just have to see where it lies. But once again, a lot of the grades feed off what the rest of the roster is. So I mean, goalies playing behind a better roster are gonna perform better. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Uh, Kinger, how weak do you think these goaltending uh, cores look? Or gold? Wow, I'm really blowing the ball today. Sorry, this is one take.
Hey,
Uh,
one take wonder.
mistakes do happen, so get used to it. Kinger, what do you think about the
Hmm.
goalies for Azerbaijan? Or you can play
I
it
think
again.
it's a really hit or miss depending on the night. Like Region, I've seen play, excellent, and then I think he was in the clip where you're yelling, "I need a save." So I mean, it really depends what region you're getting, and then I don't know if it's Landamov or if it's Fraggles. Who's the other goalie that they're gonna have?
Apparently, drink some milk. I've
Oh
heard
yeah, drink
through
some milk.
the
Yeah,
rumblings that he's pretty sick. Top 5 goalie says.
yeah, he's got a chip on his shoulder for sure.
Molotov.
I like guys like that. Come and exert their dominance. Tell Iggy his list is garbage.
I'm down for
I've
it.
seen him play pretty good. I'm pretty sure I played with him in a weekender, and he was pretty solid. I think he got sniped a few times, which is common in this game for a lot of goalies.
Right
So it'd be
here.
interesting to see. I think it depends on the night, but I think the inconsistency might kill these guys.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point to touch on. Consistency is definitely key if they want to make it into a final playoff spot come time. Moving on to numero 9, we have Colombia. Oh, someone added a picture of Pablo Escobar. Late edit. Wow, that is something.
Sheesh.
Yeah, shit. Anyways, Colombia, number 9. Forwards, grade of B. Defense, grade of C. And goalies, a grade of B as well. Led by Chell Snipes, Philadelphia, PA, aka XX215, aka the guy who inputs your stats and updates the website every night, aka you should thank him more often. And Easy
Mm-hmm.
Laffy. Kinger, initial thoughts
Hmm.
looking at the overall roster, just top to bottom.
These guys look a lot like last season's Luxembourg. They got Zadina, Drive, guys like that. They got the brothers and Jared in '98 too. I don't know. I feel like this team has a lot of duos, a lot of guys that a couple guys play together here and there. So they're gonna have some chem, obviously. I don't think these guys really have any like super top end lines. Maybe Jared and 98 together is obviously going to be your first line, but I don't know if that's going to be the likes of a Canada, a North Korea, a USA, a first line like that. But I think these guys got some good depth. I think their goalies are really solid, and that's probably it. I mean, just depends what Perry you're going to get if he's committed or not.
Yeah, great point. I think we can all turn out Perry's LG stats to just highlight that. Iggy,
Undefeated against them.
yeah, yeah, Iggy. Thoughts and
You
concerns.
know, if you could put Zadina, Jared, and 98 on a line, I think they'd be a good top line, but nobody on that line would play defense, unfortunately. But I think they're all 3 really good high velocity scoring opportunities. I just played Jared and 98 in LG last night, and they may or may not have sniped me a few times. We've still got the wins, but yeah, I like this team for middle of the pack. Depends. I haven't seen Chelsea Knights playing goalie a lot lately, but the couple LG seasons ago, the guy was a Vezina candidate. I think he's a pretty solid goalie. I think he can carry to some wins.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that is a good point. Shell Snipes can be good, but I'm always concerned. I should have brought this up with Azerbaijan. I'm always concerned about goalies taking free contracts. I just
Mm-hmm.
think that your free
Agreed.
contract should be spent on someone who is potentially, first or second round worthy. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
highest,
top end skaters.
yeah, highest goalies we've seen picked is usually third round.
Yeah,
We
I
had
think
a second
Banks was
round in
second.
Banks.
Yeah, last season I think,
V-
and they won it too. So
They won
yeah.
it. It made me puke when they made the pick, but
There you go. Yeah, so I'm questionable about management. I know, like you said previously, Chelsea Snipes can be on or can be off. 215, I'm not sure that he's the same 215 that people may have known him as from NHL 20, where LTs were more prominent.
mm-hmm.
Um, and defense, like I'm kind of I see a lot of players that like to stay up and are focused on offense, like 98, Zadina, Young Matt, Jared, but I don't see a lot of defense. Like who's gonna play defense for this team? Drive,
Gibby.
Gibby,
Cricket.
yeah, Cricket on your third line. Ooh, it's kind of making
I
me
think Cricket
scared.
was playing today for them on defense. I think we warmed up against them and he was playing D, so I assume. But I
Yeah,
could
so
be
Who
wrong.
is that cricket guy?
That's the
He
guy
hosts the
who
stream.
yeah, that's the guy who does most of the stream stuff for drafts and whatnot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I don't
There you go.
see a top end defenseman out there either. Like they don't have, like a guy that's going to play on their first line with 98 and Jared and, lock things down
Nope.
from the back end and really help them out.
Yeah, I think the only player that I can maybe see making a jump to D is Matt. Other
Yeah,
than that,
maybe.
Perry has to come out of his net.
yeah, or Perry play his 9 games out
Don't
of
need that.
position.
Don't need
Yeah.
that.
Anyways, I digress. Let's move on to number 8, Finland. Uh, the blue, white, and blue. Forwards grade of B, defense C plus, and goalies C plus as well. Management consists of Kindred, Ziz 88, and Bell 91 as their AGM. Key players to kind of highlight in their roster include Bodie, Bruins, Freezer 10, Psych, Rivster, and X Jason X. Jason, what do you think about Jason Iggy?
Yeah, I mean, Jason and I are buddies. I haven't seen him play in a while. He kind of dropped off the face of the earth 2 esports seasons ago, technically, if you want to call them seasons, 2 LG seasons ago, actually. Uh, he joined a squad with us in Ground and Pound, dipped, quit on us, went to play for Parksy's squad, quit in the middle of the tournament for them, and then got bounced out of Natty Light and just didn't play anymore.
Yeah,
But he's
seeing a
back.
common theme here.
Yeah, he's back. So we'll see if he stays. If he stays, he was up and coming goalie. He was going to be one of the best, but he just stopped playing.
Yeah, I think he is now, if memory serves me right, I think it might be the util for Sixth Sense.
Yeah,
He
I think
was
that's true.
he was playing for Naslin's team, I believe, in Kings Coast Cup. Oh my God,
Kings Coast Cup.
Kings Coast Cup. Yeah, there you go.
The Helmet Boys.
Yep,
Yeah, the Helmet Boys. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I remember he definitely made a bunch of good saves when
Oh yeah.
us on Freedom played them. Kind of kept that in the game, and also pushed him into a playoff spot. Surprisingly, I did not think that was
Mm-hmm.
gonna happen.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Kai didn't make it.
yeah, Kai didn't make it with
Yeah.
comeback of Hannick that fell short. Anyways, yeah, Jason, just a player to highlight. I had him before in Fiji. Great player.
Mm-hmm.
Problem is his attitude. I didn't really like his attitude too much. I didn't like managing
Yep.
him particularly. I felt like he was one of the kids that I had to look at a kindergarten if I was managing it.
Yep.
And
He's a tolerant.
I could maybe see that with one other guy or 2 other guys. I'm not gonna say their names.
On this roster.
Yeah, on this roster,
Ooh.
people can
I'll throw some
speculate.
names out.
People can speculate. I ain't gonna say anything. I ain't gonna say
Goon
anything.
166 monetize. I'll throw some
They
people under the bus.
no, I'm saying on
Tolerant.
this roster. I'm saying
Uh,
on this roster.
I don't
Anyways,
know anybody else on this roster.
anyways, let me stop on the head. Kanger, looking at some of these players, what do you think the key strength of Finland to their success is going to be?
Probably Ping. They got Rev. They got Bodie. No, I'm joking. I'm gonna say the key. I mean, they're not going to be good if they don't get commitment from these guys. Like, you got Bodie, who's kind of notorious for, oh, I don't want to play. I'm not going to play. Riv, who I think's had veil problems in the past. I don't know for certain.
Habs
So I
case.
think if these guys are committed, I mean, Psych even, like, Psych signed up first season this year, see how much he plays, see how active he is. I think that'd probably be it. I think these guys all, if they have good attitudes and they want to play the game together, they'll find success. But other than that, it's going to be, I think, a long season for them.
Yeah. I do have to note the management here. I don't know who Ziz is, but I do know Kindred, however he pronounces it. He was on my team last season when I got bounced to the last place team from North Korea. And he was complaining about how they did a horrible job drafting. They didn't let him take over for the team or even in the late draft. So he took management, and I think he turned out drafting a way better team than they had last season. So he stuck to his word.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, let's see how he keeps it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Trades will
Absolutely.
definitely be determinant. But yeah, I definitely think they have two decent lines, or I can at least picture two decent lines. Psych and Bruins, I think those are two solid top two defensemen on for like to build two lines
Yeah.
around. Uh, Bodie and Rivster, I think that could be a good line. Bodie
Hmm.
playing center, Riv playing wing, and Freezer and I'm looking at this roster and I gotta think that Freezer probably plays with Bell. Maybe have
Mm-hmm.
that as your second line with Bruins, or Platt somewhere in there.
Yeah.
It's okay. I can definitely see this being a playoff team, like a fringe
Yeah,
playoff
like a
team.
Oh,
fringe playoff team. Yeah,
yeah.
that's where I see like their sort of potential. Like probably going to get rounded, but I mean, it really depends on your matchups
Happens.
and how you play it. Like last
Exactly.
season, I think my roster was probably, I don't know, top six. Like I don't think we had a top two roster, but we just kind of played matchups, played certain lines, certain situations, and you can go far off based off that.
Yeah, for sure. All right, on to number 7 now. That is Mexico. The boys,
Mexico.
the boys in the green, white, and red. Uh, someone is managing in this stream. I wonder who that is. That's on
I don't know. I bet
the
he's sick of
list.
the game though.
Yeah, really. I mean, he gave himself a B plus over the forwards in defense,
Whew.
so
Trust
must
me.
have confidence.
I gave Mac a B plus over me, baby.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey,
Anyways,
I'm just saying.
you're just saying.
I'm just
Continue.
saying. Somebody else in this broadcast right now can vouch that Mac will steal games, and he did it tonight. That's where I
You're
got the
gonna call
plus
me out
from.
like that. You're gonna call
Yep.
me out. Okay,
I was gonna say.
Max stole a game. Not the best night for Africa. Not the best night. Kind of had our heads in the sand. I was adjusting to the climate. A couple jet lag was getting to me. It was just an off
Sweaty.
night. But McAvoy, definitely solid goalie. I don't know how long he's been playing. I've seen him in a couple
2 weeks.
drafts, and really,
Yep.
there you know. I've just been. I've seen him in a couple drafts, and he was really good. I knew he was going to be really good. I didn't have any really doubts about this guy. Obviously, Josh. This team's more based on sixes. I think, like sort of like LG and stuff. A lot of guys that Josh would know from that, and like McAvoy's another guy like that. Playing a lot of sixes drafts as goalie. Probably saw him there, and he's really solid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see them more and more. I look at this roster. Management is Josh Yu and who is that? Pool in
Pulling.
32.
It's
Yeah,
Kenny.
Kenny.
PLP Kenny. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I think those guys. I think Josh Yu was a second liner for Argentina last season. PLP Kenny. I think he's been around a little bit. Another solid, I think, really solid second liner for a deep team.
Mm-hmm.
But the more and more I look at this roster, I kind of like it. Uh, defense, you have first line would probably be Josh, um, and then second line you probably have Silver or Salad Raider. Salad Raider isn't that bad. Plus he's West, so
Mm-hmm.
you are probably playing a majority of your games on Central, or South Central or East for that matter. So I think ping won't be that much of a factor for him. Skillsy and Volcom, Parksy, and Barks. I think those are solid forwards. And Stasny, I overlooked him. Solid. Those are 5 solid forwards. So you can push one of those guys to the third line. And then goalies, you got Iggy, the man himself, in this call. McAvoy, as
Mm-hmm.
we just touched on. And I'm guessing Rena's probably your third string.
No, I actually didn't know who he was. He's a very prominent I3J guy. We grabbed him because he's torn up the JHL the last few seasons. Have him thrown in a couple games here and there.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but nonetheless, I think definitely a solid 7, if anything. Uh, not any indicator by any means for where it finally, rankings finally shake out. I can easily see these guys, going into 5 or 4
Yeah,
by the time this is all done.
yeah,
Any further thoughts on Mexico?
yeah. So I think we're a pretty average team right across the board. I don't think we have any superstar lines. I mean, we have Skillsy, but he's not a threes guy, so we'll see how he correlates over. The one thing I do like about our team is we have a line prepared for West. We have a line prepared for QC, and I can meet in the middle. Um, so come across Canada, they better watch out. Throw some West at them.
Okay, buddy. No, I think this line's really solid. I think it's like really well rounded. You got guys that can play center, wing, D, multiple position guys. A lot of guys probably have played together in the past. I want to say through sixes. I don't got any concerns about skills translating. I mean, you're just giving him more ice and more touches with the puck. I don't think it's going to be a problem in threes for a guy that stature. I think this is a really solid squad. They don't have any super game breakers besides maybe Skillsy and Stasny. But aside from that, it's a really good team.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect note to leave it off at. Next team, number 6, the Germans, Deutschland.
West Germany.
In West Germany, West Berlin.
Hey.
Okay, let's not go that far. Forwards to the left of the flag, we got as a B rating, defense B plus, and goaltending as well at a B plus, led by Yoda and Timms, Dangles X13, and Rampage. Going through the list, some prominent players just off the bat: CT66, Dimitri 91, and I also see Bray and AK11. I think those are probably
That'd
the
probably be
gist
best
of it.
players, yeah.
That's the gist of it. Kjnger, as you say, best players. I think one player to highlight on, and I'm not tooting his horn, even though he asked me for him to toot his horn. CT66. I've heard rumblings that he wants to be traded. I've heard
Source?
rumblings. I've heard rumblings. Sources. I'm not gonna talk about it.
Source him.
But if he stays put, how far do you think he might lead a first line consisting of himself, Dimitri,
Just
and let's
as
say
far
Yoda?
as he carried you.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
I think they can compete with just about anyone. CT's really talented. I mean, really, the only weakness I'd say CT really has is just breakaways. So if this guy gets the puck, it's best to probably get out of his way and let him go skate down at the goalie. Guy, I played with him in LG, never seemed to be able to finish, and he said it himself tonight. I think he missed like 10 breakaways.
Yep.
So I mean, other than that, I think they're really solid, really well rounded. I hate saying that about every team, but I feel like we have some good parity this year. Their first line is probably like an average first line. I don't think it's really, gonna beat, not beat. I don't think it's really, that fearful of like you can be that fear. I don't even know what I'm saying. I don't think it's to be feared as much as other teams. I think they're like a really solid group. Don't get me wrong; they got Rampage in the net, probably Yoda and D, I'm guessing, and then CT up front with Dimitri, like you said. I think they're really solid. I think they're definitely beatable. I think they're probably around a mid-tier, game 7 line and a mid-tier ranking as you see them at 6.
Yeah, I think that perfectly sums it up. Iggy, any further thoughts on Germany?
Yeah, I think they have a top 3 goalie, possibly top 2, wherever your perspective lays. Only thing that brings down the goalie grade a little bit is Emo Primo.
Emo Primo.
He will. I mean, he can play good. He plays good in drafts, and then he doesn't, and then he throws the controller. So the only thing I see, they're prepared for a West line. They're prepared for East. They have okay defensemen. I think defensemen's their like wary part because they have defensemen who can be really good attributors but are very offensive.
Yeah, I also heard Yoda might be playing forward this season, but I'm not sure who their 3D would be then. Dangles, Flemmer,
and
Shafty maybe? I don't know. I have no idea.
I wish I could tell you. And I also want to note, I think Yoda this season, when Germany gets home games, I think you might want to consider vetoing Texas. Because if you don't veto Texas, I feel like he'll slip himself in a game. And that might be the difference. You never know with center selection this year. You never know. Anyways, we get into the top 5. looking on the out or just on the peak or edge or cusp or whatever the word I'm trying to find, got North Korea as seen by the gentleman above me. Uh, to the left of
Fearless
him,
leader.
yep, to the left of him, he is saluting the grades, management, and roster so graciously. Uh, forward grade, we have a A minus, defense a B, and goaltending at a C plus. Management consisting of Kessel, face, and a very recognizable name of the I3HL. Sakic, newcomer to I3 last season, and we got Jarvis as the AGM. Forwards at A minus, pretty top heavy up front. Um, who do you think are going to be their most notable contributors points wise? Kinger, go with you.
Well, obviously Huff and Sack, I think were both top 5 points last season, so I'd have to go with those two. I think Haxby's another guy. I'm not sure if he's playing forward or D this season, but I think he's going to be, up there points wise and just play wise. Loose skill should be a part of their top two line system. I'd probably say that'd probably be, and of course Kessel. Can't count him out. He's really improved his game from the last few seasons. I'd probably say that's like the top end group for them. Not to shit on any of the other guys, but I'd probably say that's the main contributors of their team.
Yeah, no, I'd have to agree. Iggy, I'm gonna kick it to you.
Yeah.
Back end. I'm gonna switch it up.
Ba-
Throw you a curveball. Back end. We have defense at a B and goaltending at a C plus. From a goalie, when you look at some of these goalies, do you think there's much success in store for them in terms of stats?
Um, Finn had pretty good stats last season. Um, I forget which team he played for. But he can be
Canada, I
good.
think.
Yeah, he played on a really good team. So we played them first night. They had Finn in for the first two games, and then he had to leave for LG, and they put Date Mist in. And then our third game, I could have not made a save all game, and we still would have won. Um, Date Mist was just not there. Could have been an off night. He brags about how he's a really good goalie all the time, but I haven't seen it yet. And then defense, they actually have Haxby playing D this season. He was actually a really good D man in threes for some reason. I
Agreed.
wouldn't trust him in D and sixes, but threes it works for some reason. And then they got Goal on the West Coast. Love the guy. And Jarvis. I think those are their top three D man. Um, but I think out of points wise, I think BP Frank's going to lead this team in points. Dark horse. You mentioned Sack, Huff, Kessel, Haxby. I think it's going to be BP Frank. The guy tore me to shreds.
But maybe that's just you.
True.
Doesn't
His
tear you
gold
to
gear is
shreds.
very blinding.
the Iggy effect. Hopefully you don't play against him too much. You might actually
Hopefully
speak
not.
it into existence.
I'll throw some games for it to happen.
Okay, all right. I'm not
Okay,
sure.
tampering.
Yeah, I'm not sure if
JK.
that's allowed. Yep. Just kidding. Disclaimer. Hello. Chowda.
JK, JK.
Let this actually go into media coverage. If you've seen it, that means Chowda has approved, and I haven't been canceled yet. So, wow. That's great. That's a great step in itself. Anyways, see you, Kim Jong-un. We're going on to number 4. South Africa. Look at that colorful name above that colorful flag with a bunch of colorful titles to the left of that flag.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Yep. You
Mm-hmm.
got yellow, blue, black, red, and green. I think that covers all bases. Pretty much. Yep. Anyways, forwards grading we have a B plus. Defense following suit at a B plus as well. And goalies dropping off just a little bit at C plus. Goalies I can already see they got their boy Magic, and also Charzin as well. That's a sneakily formidable goalie tandem. Uh, but looking at management, we have the Frenchies, Hebert and Shecky. I love those guys. No bias.
Mm-hmm.
And we also have another management member who's in this call. Well, we have 3 management members here.
Hey
Kinger,
guys.
yeah, drafted AGM number 10. A little bit controversial pick, but
Yep, way too low.
yeah, there you go. Even at forward, right?
Yeah, Winter.
There you go.
Top end forward.
There you go. Exactly. Highlighting some key players off the bat. Iggy, who are 3 players that stand out to you the most on this roster?
Yeah, Nitram. First and foremost, I think the
Knitty.
AKA
guy
Nitty.
is, yeah, Nitty. I think he's unreal. Um, but Algie, definitely a top end D man. Not a big name. He doesn't go along with your Michelles or Focuses. He doesn't get thrown in that conversation. But I think he's definitely up there. And then Mark, the Mark and Hubert French duo. I mean, nothing is more unstoppable in a weekender night than a drunk Magic, a drunk Hubert, and a drunk Mark. It's just the best party presence. Great vibes.
Perfect. Kinger, I'm gonna kick this question to you now.
Mm-hmm.
I know before we talked and turned the camera on that you didn't really have too heavy of a hand in their drafting. Uh,
No.
which players were you most pleased to be seen selected?
Obviously, my guy Nit. I mean, played with him
Mm-hmm.
tonight. Absolutely fantastic player. Got the quickest thumbs in the game. Really happy I get to play with him this season. Gulag Gary had him on Barbados. Never really played with him too much because we're both defensemen, obviously. But I think he's really solid, really underrated guy. People don't seem to talk about him. But last season I got 15 trade offers, and I had to keep telling people he's not on the block. Don't send a trade offer. I'm going to block you. So I'd probably say that. I'd probably say those two if I had to give you two. Charzan's a really good goalie from what I hear, so I'm excited to have an opportunity to play with him. That'd probably be my top three.
Yeah, super. I think management, this is one of the teams that I think that's a confident management group that I would say, okay, if I want to give someone a guaranteed spot on my team, I would probably give those 2 guys a guaranteed spot on my team. Those are
Mm-hmm.
easily first round pick to early second round pick guys. Hubert's sneakily good in threes. I know
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
we tried him at a experiment for sixes at defense. That kind of didn't work out that well, and he took the ban. Sorry, kind of worked out that way. And Chucky, he's also. I've had guys, management in LG telling me that Chucky is a very very good contract. 500K for him, steal. And I think
Gross.
Oh yeah.
that's not the
Yeah,
case in threes. He is known, and if there was a bidding system in threes, I think he would be up there for maybe one of the highest bids for
agreed.
forwards.
Absolutely.
And then just to cap it off, I think like Kinger said on stream, they did have a couple solid late round picks. There's actually a typo. That's drop. It's supposed to be drip 38. This was
That's what it is in the
copied.
Disrespect.
document.
This was copied straight from the
Mm-hmm.
database. I'm just saying. So whoever did the spelling in the database, either A, you're trolling, or B, stop staying up so late at night. I think he could also. I think he could be sneakily good forward, and then also tolerant. He got picked up really late. I think he's a really good third line contributor, and he's gonna like playing 3 games a week as a third liner. I know as management, I think we can all appreciate if your third line goes 2-1 in a night, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Exactly. So that's key to success right there is third line success. If you can at least give me 2 or 1 wins a week, no 0-3s, a-okay with that.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
For
that'd be
that reason,
fantastic.
yeah, see him in the top 4 easily. But yeah, top 3, number 3, Hong Kong, a new country. I don't think we've ever had Hong Kong in I3HL before, have
I
we?
don't think so
Never
either. I'm
seen
not
it.
a historian of the I3 hockey league, but I don't believe so.
Yeah, someone might have to fact check us on that, but I'm going to say that it's probably their inaugural season. I know they're under the IIHF. I think that's the countries that had to be chosen from. Um, to the left of the
Barbados.
beautiful flag, yeah, Barbados. Left of the beautiful flag is the grades. A for forwards, A minus for defense, and best position grading of A plus at goaltending.
Mm-hmm.
First A plus that we've seen of the night. Uh, I'm not going to ask the goalie about the goalie's Kinger goaltending on this team.
Mm. Well, you're going to start off with their starter. I think he's sort of known for being a top end threes goalie. Probably one of the best, if not the best, breakaway goalie in the league. That's of course, Beatsmaster, aka Rask.
Yep, yes
He's
sir.
fantastic. The only really concerns you have with that guy is how committed he is. If his team's good, he's all for it. He'll show up. He's into it, practice and everything. If his team isn't good, he's wanting out, doesn't want to play, and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see how he performs based off that. Then they have Maisie, who's another French goalie, really good. Uh, I've seen this guy play more in sixes, not so much threes, but he's stolen games from me in the past, stolen games with me, due to my lackluster D. So I'd say this guy's probably could be a starter on most teams, and he's their second tier, which is really solid. And then King Natsu, who's an older name from I3, really solid goalie in the past. I think as a third line goalie, he's going to be fantastic for them. I think that's a steal.
Yeah, I think just to reiterate that they got top end talent in Rask easily. I think I'd consider him top three goalies that are active right now. Maisie, I think he's definitely shown prowess in sixes. If he can bring those reactions over the threes, I think he'll do just fine on the second line. And then Natsu, as you said, really solid backup. Iggy, forwards
Yeah.
at an A. Who
Yeah.
stands out to you the most? Who do you think is going to be the game breaker? Okay, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Jesse. Yeah. One weird thing I do want to input, I don't want to talk about goalies because I am the goalie, but I think of Rask as a sixes goalie and Maisie as a threes goalie. He used to be Natty Light Knights star man. I think he's a threes guy. Rask is self-notably a sixes man now. Says he is not associated with threes.
Us cap.
But hey, his words, not mine. But on to the forwards, yeah. I think things is he's new to the threes. He's new to the threes league. A lot of people question me putting him up there because I think a lot of the guys in the threes league don't know about him. He is notably one of the best players to ever touch the sticks, and he is coming back in full stride with a vengeance, and he is scoring at will. I mean, I think he is one of the few players, I'd say one of three players in this league that can single-handedly win you a game. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, I think Dings will be able to carry anybody you put with him, especially on forward. I think you'll make the winger beside you look like a genius.
Mm-hmm.
Just the way with his puck movement and also body control as well, the way he contortions himself. I think Zucro might, if he is lining himself up to play with that top pick, he might be lining himself up for a point season in the bank. But underneath them, give us some depth. We got Bebe Marchand at D, Huber 91 also at D, and some other forwards just to kind of make note of. We got Mace, we got Cappy, we got Slarchy, being a little bit toxic in LG this year, but that's besides the point. Yeah, best contract, self-proclaimed, and McCutch, as you mentioned. Yeah, if you two were to choose one player that you like the most for their depth, who would it be? Just quick. We'll go with
first.
Cappy.
Go with Kjnger. Okay, Iggy, Cappy, cool. Kjnger, go ahead.
I think McCutch, easily.
Really?
Yeah.
Cappy.
All
Sorry,
right.
Cappy. Not to disrespect you, but
no, I like
McCutch.
it.
It's McCutch, and it's obvious.
Super. We'll leave it at that. No explanation needed. You can ascertain as to why. Anyways, top two. On the outside, looking in of number one, we have Canada. Returning management, Higginson, almost synonymous with winning West Coast and I3HL and 6', 240 grinder builds, if I can remember correctly. Doughty there as well, definitely no slouch. And you have Trash Panda as their AGM, who I believe they picked up in their fourth round. That kind of left the spot open for Doughty to slip in there as the free contract. Definitely saved him a first round pick. I think that was a great move. Building on to their ranking, forwards of A minus, defensive A, and also goaltending at A minus. A's all around the board. Let's just do a quick overview. Why Canada number two over some of these other teams, Kjnger?
I think Canada's probably number two because you got another 20 win line in Higgs and Panda together. I think that's probably they're going to be their second line, and you can throw Crazy Joe on D there. I know they're all West, but these guys have got it done on Central before. I don't think they're a slouch by any means. They've been sort of top end, and then you have St. Michel and Doughty on the same line, and I mean these guys are absolutely fantastic together. You got Zach Jeet, Slime, some good depth. Hannock, I've heard good things. I think these guys, their top two lines, in my opinion, are probably up there with top two in the league. I don't think they really got some good top end talent up there, and then they got like a third line that can compete with any third line. So I think all around these guys are probably one of the most well-rounded teams. I don't think these guys are really going to drop too many games this season.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point to sum up. Not dropping too many points and capitalizing on their games played. Iggy, where do you see uh, the bright spots of this team being based on your rankings? Obviously, defense you ranked first. But are the
Yeah.
forwards and goaltending really that far behind?
No, not really. The only really reason that they're a little bit below defense, is because if we're having St. Michel back there with Doughty on forward, Michelle's a possession guy, Doughty's a shooter, flying up the wings. I think I would put a little bit more faith in the puck with Michelle to just bubble in threes, how he does it. I'm a big Joe Davola fan, and advocate. I think he plays really well even on East, being a West guy. Um, he was in the Tampa Bay Lightning shortcoming cup run, but he just clamped down while Augie played with the puck. So I think he does that here in threes as well. Uh, but yeah, the only reason goalies is a little bit behind is just because Burns is a top four goalie, in my opinion. It just depends if he's committed to threes at goalie. I'm shocked he didn't sign up at forward. And then Magic Mutual love the guy.
Yeah, that's great. I know Much is a
Oh,
character.
Kolbs.
Oh,
Sorry.
Kolbs,
My bad.
Cubs.
Cubs, Clutch Kolbs.
Yeah, Heroic Duck used to always call them Cobs, but
Cubs, yeah,
never understood why. It didn't make him too happy.
I bet not. Yeah, a lot of West as
A whole
we
lot of West.
as we've seen. I think West just off the top of my head, management all West. Doughty from
Hanya.
California, Higginson, Panda, I believe from uh, north of the border, and then Kolb's, Devola, Slime, Zach, Hanyuk, Teji. Not sure about Pac-Man, but that's a lot of West. I think, you
West
know,
Coast, West Coast.
yeah, quick thought. I mean, if you're playing against Canada, obviously, I've already vetoed West against them
Mm-hmm.
tonight, the night of we're recording. Um, do you think them playing probably essentially strictly on Texas or Central Oregon will have any effect to their potential downfall from these power rankings?
I don't think so. I
Uh,
think I think Doughty and Panda played on Central most of last season, in the regular season at least. I know in playoffs they had West, and there's a bit of controversy, but like we beat them in a game 7 2-1 on Texas, and I had probably my best game 7 line in, and they had two, and they have 2/3 of that back on their second line. And then Crazy Joe for Swift isn't a huge drop off, and some people might look at it as an upgrade, or like a lateral move. So I think that line's pretty intact. That line's going to be really solid for them. And then you got Doughty and Michelle on the other line. Like your top two lines are stacked.
Yeah, for sure.
mm-hmm.
Iggy, any thoughts on servers?
Yeah, I think other than one unspeakable name, Dowdy and Nita are the two guys that you can put on any server and they still look like they're playing on QC5 ping. They get it done. They're just good. They're just good players. And the rest of the team has proven themselves on Central. I know we got bounced in a Central game last season on our team and against Canada. We didn't have the strongest roster, but we were like, okay, let's just not play them on West. We'll be fine, and still got it handed to us. So I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, no, I also ran into that West and even Central wall as well last season as we got first rounded, I believe. Or no, My apologies. I didn't even make playoffs last season. Getting ahead of myself. I think 2 seasons ago, where I
Not
where I won my
I was there.
Norris, Ward check. Hello.
Norris to golf season.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Norris to the
Yeah.
links. That's how she goes. Yeah,
Drew Doughty much.
yeah, for real. Except I still have my two front teeth. Yeah, I piggyback off your two both of your thoughts as English would uh,
You're really on
lend
the
its
ball
way
tonight.
to. Yeah, I'm
Need some
dropping the ball.
sleep.
It is like I don't even know what time it is, but I probably need to go to bed after this. Anyways, I agree that servers they'll be fine on Central or Texas. No worries, as that's why we have them at number two. And number one, by process elimination, if you have not guessed already.
Bye, sis.
Yeah, no bias. I was not responsible for this. USA management consisting
America.
of myself. I actually am surprised I got this team. I'm not gonna lie. Myself,
The
Slim, and JJR. Next to the red, white, and blue, we have forwards at a grade of A plus, defense at a grade of B plus, and goaltending at a grade of A. I'm gonna stay silent on this. No bias. Um, let's start with Iggy. Overall thoughts on the roster that
great team.
I have.
Yeah, great team. I was shocked in the first 5 picks or first 5 rounds that people were letting you draft this team. I was definitely shocked. Um, the only reason defense is at a B plus, I mean, focus is just pulling these guys down. Uh, no, but all jokes aside, the only reason I do have like their defense ranked a little bit lower than some other top 3 teams. Focus is there. Focus will carry a line. Thankfully, he doesn't have to. He gets that weight taken off his shoulders. I was scratching my head. I know it's Dangle Nation and Easy B most likely is your next top two. Maybe Serves. Um, but I don't think Serves and Easy, they can be there in threes, but they're just super offensive. So unless you have Vanks in the net there to lock down those breakaways, which he does, but if you have your backup in, I think it's a little bit of trouble. And then Dingle's been off to a rough start. We're only one weekend, so I mean it's not a big deal. He'll turn around. He's a threes legend.
Super. Turn to Kinger now without my bias.
Yeah, this roster, I mean, it's probably really forward top heavy. Slim's obviously, or Melvin, as you guys don't know, is playing forward this season.
Mm-hmm.
JJR, like that's going to be a duo for a line, I'm guessing. If Dan goes on D, then you're probably looking at Rogers and Shocks maybe on the same line. Rogers played with him in LG, played with him in esports previously. Really good player, really well rounded, 200-foot game, just really solid, all around player that you can put with a guy like Shocks and let Shocks do his thing, and Rogers will play his role. And Stas coming off a cup winning season,
Mm-hmm.
he's really solid if he's going to play on near third. Played on third last season and really thrived. So I mean, they're really stacked up front. On D, you have Focus, who's top 2 defenseman in the league minimum, probably top 1.
Right behind you,
Um,
right?
Man, if you got me in your top 5 D, you need to reevaluate. But Focus probably top 2, top 3, depending on your preferences and stuff. But Serves as your second line D, I'm guessing, is really solid still. Not really too much of a drop off compared to some other teams that only have like one really solid D, and then their third line D, I'm guessing would be Dangle Nation or Easy V, and they're still really solid. There's no real like terrible drop off. You have really solid D all around, and then in nets you got Van X, who's top 3 goalie. Most would probably put him number 1, and
Mm-hmm.
then you have Deport Me, legendary name changer. His name's already changed from Hawking 31. If you're confused on who that is, that's a name changer now. It's probably
That
going to
makes
change
sense.
by the time this is recorded.
Already changed.
Yep, probably. I mean, the guy has more money than to change his name than anything. And then East X10, who's a really solid kid in nets. I think he's just starting to get back into goalie, so it'd be interesting to see how that process evolves. But really solid, really well-rounded team. No weaknesses really on this team. I mean, if you're going to beat them, it's going to be tough games all around. 7-game series looks tough against this team, and that's why they're number 1.
Super. I thank you for the compliments. I'm gonna stay numb. I'm gonna not put my input. You can bash me all you want
Put
for
your
saying
input in.
No, I'm gonna leave it as it is. I think those two
I
summaries were
gave him team
perfect.
input.
Okay, if you want me to give team input,
So did Kinger. Where do
okay.
you see your weaknesses as a drafting this team? What do you think you could have done
Yeah,
better?
call out your players.
I'm not gonna try to call out anybody. I think we had a position mishap during draft. Originally, we had Slim at defense, and then
Mm-hmm.
plans arise that he's gonna play forward. Him, JJ, and serves have been grinding a lot. That's probably gonna be a line staying together for the future. Shocks, I obviously had to get him. One of my boys, part of
Mm-hmm.
the HP group. He's probably gonna be playing with me. And then Rogers, Dangle Nation. We actually have Dangle probably playing forward. I think that's probably where he's best
Oh,
suited. Even though he signed up as D, he actually meant to sign up as forward. Talked that out with him. Super fine with playing center. No game cap penalty. No mishaps there.
Yep.
Uh, third line should be. I'm hoping it'll be good. Planning on having Stoss and Easy B down there. Uh,
yeah.
East looked great so far. Vane, I know he can carry me. I know he can carry anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Deport, I think he'll make some saves. But yeah, that's just the gist of it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the only thing is like if obviously grades are really just nonsense. It's just input on what you think a roster looks like. The only thing that brings this team to an A, I think you can leave the forwards in an A plus if you put Melvin you put Slim at defense, and I think it becomes A plus A straight across.
Probably. I think maybe even Kinger might argue Slim might be more effective at D just because he might
Mm-hmm.
be more possessive with the puck. I think
Yep.
we've all seen that before, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you really can't go wrong putting this guy at any of the three skater positions, even goalie,
Absolutely.
he says, according to him. But
He's got the
I
paint.
mean, I think we all know he's not going to be playing goalie.
Yeah. Hopefully not. If that's the case, then I'm definitely in deep trouble.
Yeah.
I'm already cross my heart, hope to die. I don't see him in goal. Uh, all right, that is power rankings to start the season. No week one input. I know a couple of games have already been played, but this is how it stands. Obviously, any complaints, you can just send them our way.
Yep. My
Preferably
inbox
Kinger.
is always open.
Yeah,
Always
DMs
preferably
are
open.
Kinger.
I
open.
will argue tooth and nail with you on everything I've said on this podcast.
Right there
Exactly.
with you.
Exactly. Just
I
to
have all the time in the world.
Yeah, there you go. Just to crown it off, final segment, as mentioned before, award predictions. Now, Iggy did host a community vote of managers. I believe we're gonna
Mm-hmm.
probably, I think we're gonna skip that. You
Pretty
leave it,
long.
leave it. You don't want to. You want to include it?
Oh no, I said we've gone on pretty long.
Yeah,
So
we
I'm
have
I'm
drawn
okay
on
with taking
pretty
it out.
long. So I think that's better left to media coverage in a text post.
Yep.
Yeah.
So people are free to look at that. But this is our predictions, starting with I believe it is Iggy. Check out Iggy's.
Yeah.
Iggy has champions of Hong Kong, top forward for points, Dings, top defenseman, Forbes for points, and top goalie Rask. Run us through kind of your rationale of this, Iggy.
Yeah. So I know Kinger disagrees with my rationale. He doesn't like the
Well,
straight
this
line
guy
approach.
just put his chips on Hong Kong.
Yeah,
That's
I
what he
went
did.
all in. I went all in. I didn't want to spread the pot. I didn't want to take home smaller earnings. If I'm going home broke or big. Um, so I have Hong Kong winning it all. Obviously, it's really hard to pick a winner at the beginning of the season. It's just based off draft rosters. Trades could happen, and I throw Hong Kong in last. They could just fall apart. You never know. I think they have a really, I think they have one of, if not the best first line. I think they have depth that can handle, and I think they have the goalie to keep them in it. Uh, I mean, Rask, in my opinion, is the best goalie in the threes league right now. I know Vanks is there to steal games, so he's just as good. Um, but playing threes, having the threes mindset, I think I'd pass it to Rask there. He's been playing amazing in sixes lately too. He's carrying his LG team up the standings. Without them, they would be null and void. And then top forward, Dings is just going to score goals. It doesn't matter if he wins games; he'll lose games 9-8, 10-9, even 11. He'll put up double-digit points in nights. It's crazy. The guy nonstop scoring, and who's going to be passing him the puck? Forbes. I would be dumb to not put the guy who's feeding him all night up there if I think Dings is going to be winning. And then I think if those two are winning, Rask is winning. So that's just my rationale. I could be way off. Never know.
And if Hong Kong sucks, so do your
Hey,
picks.
hey, if Hong Kong sucks, I'm editing this doc and I'm reposting it.
Yeah, okay. Have fun. Have fun trying to edit this. I don't know how good your editing skills are, but by all means, more power to you.
I got a minor in it. Let's go.
Yeah, there you go. Now moving quickly on to Kinger's picks. We
Yeah, so I
have
got. Okay, you can go ahead first.
no. You can announce them. You want to jump in front of me? Go
Well,
ahead.
I just wanted to preface by saying I got partly roasted for some of my picks here by, I'm not going to name it, but someone on this podcast, and
Crazy.
I think they're an absolute moron. First off, for roasting me, their reasons gave no value. So to start them off, we got champions. I've got Canada coming back after one season, getting knocked out by Barbados in 7. They're going to come storming back and win a cup. I think they're the deepest, most well-rounded team. I had them number 1 on my personal power rankings. I think them, USA, Hong Kong, maybe North Korea is probably like tier 1 of the league, I'd
Mm-hmm.
say. I wouldn't really put South Africa up there, but I'm biased. I think Canada is just the most well-rounded team. They got the most depth. I just think they're going to win the cup based off that. Top forward, I also have Dings, similar to Iggy. I think Dings is just in threes. He's just going to have the puck way too much not to get points. He's, really talented up front. I think this is a guy who's going to put up points every night. Like Iggy said, whether he's winning or losing, you're not going to shut this guy out often. Um, yeah, top defenseman. This is where it gets controversial. We got Josh Yu, owner of Mexico. So people want to roast me for this one. They think, oh, like there's no way, there's zero chance. Josh Yu and Mexico have the perfect opportunity for Josh Yu to get the most points in the league. This guy is going to be playing on a line he gets to create. He's going to be picking the nights he gets to pick. Not going to say he scrub hunts, but he's going to be able to play with whoever he wants. He's going to have the puck on his stick a lot. This guy gets in the play. He's active as a defenseman. He has great offensive intangibles. I think this guy is a sleeper or a dark horse pick, but I think this guy is definitely underrated by the threes community. I think this guy is going to put up a shit ton of points this year. I think he's going to have the puck a lot. I think he's going to snipe from the point. Goalies should watch out. Top goalie, a little bit of bias with this one. I got Bandit. Had him last season. Know what he can do. Croatia, if they're going to succeed, they're going to have to be really strong in nets. This guy's the starter for them. Prince's teams are usually ran pretty systematic in that they play a certain way. They don't give up a lot of great chances. They have the puck a lot. So Bandit's numbers based off that are going to be great. This guy makes the saves as long as you're not giving up consistent back doors. This guy is going to make them each and every night, and I think he's going to be the top goalie in the league. A little bit of another dark horse pick, but
Mm-hmm.
I think that people love a good story, and I think if Croatia does really well this year, this guy's going to be a great story.
Well put.
Yeah, I think I only maybe I can see now where he might get the Josh Yu most points correlation. Just playing, if he plays with Stasny and Skillsy, I think that's points made in heaven.
Oh, I can say that he will not be.
Oh, is he
With
playing with?
either
Is he playing
Parksy probably.
Parksy?
Our
Yeah.
lines, yeah, our lines are Skillsy, Dimsy, and Silver, and then Statsny, Perksy, and Kenny, and then
Hmm.
yeah, and
Josh
then
is in
Josh
with
who
Parksy.
just because Parksy can play defense as well.
Yeah,
They're just gonna sprinkle him in. It depends. Our availability is kind of whack. We're
Josh,
looking at
if you're
Statsy,
listening to
Kenny, and
this,
Josh.
just stack your line, play against thirds every week, and I will have something for you at the end of the season.
The probability of you matching yourself up against third lines, I'm gonna say, a team plays their third line hypothetically once every 5 series, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have a
Mm-hmm.
20% chance of guessing that spread across 5 different nights. So for you, if you were actually getting third line consistently, And well done for guessing, really. That's just luck of the draw when it comes down to it. Buy a lottery ticket.
And you don't lock lines.
Yeah.
The only thing he could do is pick games that he gets to choose a server, so play home games only, veto anything, and hope for West, and then West or Central people.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Final picks. My
The
own.
man.
You can see a theme probably with the skaters and goalie and what nationality
Le
they are.
Français.
Yeah, Le Français. They speak francophone, if you may. Champions. I have Canada as well. I'm gonna piggyback off Kinger's
Smart.
point.
Smart.
I think they got experience. I mean, I don't know how Higginson Panda win. It's kind of like, all right, they're good, but they're not that good, but they still win. It doesn't make sense. I'm just gonna go with it. I mean, happened before, can 100% happen again, especially with the management swap. I think that was a great decision, as mentioned before. Quickly moving on to forward, Chucky. I think if Chucky plays with Hubert, that's just gonna be painful for anybody to play against. That's like two big builds just pounding you below the net. As bad as that might sound, I think crosses and LTs galore. That's going to be a nightmare for anybody who has to play them on East or QC, or even Central for that fact. Defenseman, Kovalchuk, I think, I hope he plays defense because he's such a dynamic threat to jump up in the play and also stay back. Like mentioned before on the draft stream, played with ground and pound. He has experience playing at a high level in sixes. He'd probably do the same in threes. Stiff, that will give him some good experience if he is committed. And then basically throw him elsewhere. I think he'll still quarterback it and jump up into the play. Maybe that winger will have to play some defense or center. Uh, and then goalie, Vane, um, cup winner, won the cup last year. Arguably best sixes goalie currently, arguably best threes goalie, arguably best overall goalie, kind of within competitive leagues. I don't see why we don't kind of go against track record here. But yeah, feel free to shoot my picks down if you want.
I do have to say, if I didn't go with the team theme of me thinking that Forbes is going to get all the points that Dings gets, I'd pick Kovalchuk.
Yeah, I think LT is great. What do you think about that, Kinger?
I think Josh U. Josh U.
Yeah, okay.
Josh who? More like it.
Josh Hu, yeah. Who?
Ooh.
Josh
Josh
Hu?
who?
I think that was his gamer tag for a little bit. I think he already beat you to the punch there.
Top goalie Vanks. I think that's a safe pick. I think you're scared of taking a real winner. No offense, Vanks,
Yeah, like Rask.
but a dark horse. Rask is also a safe pick. Probably. I should have picked Rampage Psycho. Like, come on,
I
guys.
love Rampy.
That's
I think Bandit's a good choice too.
yeah, but that was my outside pick. I had Rampage if I didn't pick Vane. I was gonna pick Rampage, but I don't know. I kind of see that defense kind of being sus for Germany.
Yeah.
Just with them hopping up in the rush a lot,
Yeah,
so a lot of odd man.
That's the only reason I took Rask over Ramp. I think Rask and Ramp are right on point with one another. I think Vane can be that upper point. But I just saw Germany letting in more goals than Rask's team. Same with our boy and your goalie pick. I think he's a great goalie, Kinger. I just think his team's going to be a little lackluster.
But think about it. If his team isn't lackluster, he's going to be a great goalie, and he's going to have a great story.
They'll go down.
Bandit carried Croatia. Give him the award, and I'm going to be at the end of the year smiling, giving him the best goalie award.
I'll Venmo you $20.
I was gonna say I'll pitch in on that.
$20.
I'll pitch in on that. I'll buy you I'll buy you a habanero McChicken meal from McDonald's. How about that? Uber
They'll
Eats
have to make the best trades.
I used to work at McDonald's, and the habaneros are not great. I'll tell you right now.
They're amazing.
If you saw how they were made, you would never have it.
I don't care because I'm
like
drunk.
Welcome to the new segment, Food Talk with SHL.
Exactly. All right. To wrap this all up, do any of you two have any points or shout outs you want to make?
Personally, no. If you guys want to keep a lookout on the social media tab, I'll be posting the management responses, our power rankings, and then I'll be putting a couple other little blippets in there. So stay tuned for that. But other than that, got nothing.
Super. Kinger?
The only things I want to say is if you have complaints, if you have anything you want to discuss from this podcast, feel free to message me. I'm sure I'll get back in a timely manner. I'll argue any of my points. I think I'm the smartest person when it comes to I3, top end scout here. I know all when it comes down to it, and I'll be able to tell you anything you need to know.
Cap.
Says who?
Says any manager, because everybody in I3 is self-proclaimed smart person. Just gonna say
Everyone
that.
else is
Very
self-proclaimed,
true.
but I got drafted 10th, and they said, we don't even care if you play a game. We just need your management skills. And I said, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
True.
Hey, if anybody's wondering, Kinger's Discord is Melvin #7472. Send him a message.
Oi.
Yes, sir.
That's your. Yep, that's you.
Yes, sir. He'll be happy to message him. He's up till all hours of the night,
Yep.
eating
Just
labakis.
if I don't answer in 30 seconds, just keep spamming me, just endlessly.
Exactly. Remember that too.
Mhm.
Anyways, this has been the first episode of Catching Up with I3HL. Once again, thank you to Iggy and Kinger for sitting on this podcast, recording at, I don't even know what time it is, but
Approaching 1
approaching 1 o'clock. Holy
for
cow.
you Easties.
Okay. So probably later for Kinger.
Yeah,
Feel bad
approaching
for him.
2.
Yeah, there you go. So anyways, this has been Focus, Kinger, and Iggy with the power rankings and picks for this season 12 of I3HL. Hope you have a great night. Say goodbye, you two.
Peace.
See ya.
All right. Deuces.
Oh, that was long. Oops.